Well, here we are. The material that we previously had done with the turpentine and steel wool has now dried. So we can still see that some of these little parts are coming up, and I'm going to try to get that out with a little dry steel wool. A little more. See that little spot right there? It's something that's stuck on top, and I've got that diminished to some degree. Now, what I'm going to do is abrade this. Abrade, of course, means treat the surface so that anything that you put on at a later date will adhere to it. For instance, we're going to put some color into this now, later. But in order the color to be integral with the surface, it has to be slightly abraded. Now, the best thing to use is an old piece. Well, people say, well, what kind of sandpaper is this? This is probably a 320 that has been used. And the beauty of it in using is that it gives you control of how much you can remove. So let me try to do abrade this thing. There you can see the material coming up there. See how that is making dust, also picking up more of the wax that's left in there. By putting it onto a toweling like that, you can take it off of the sandpaper and keep it clean. When I say clean, the reason being, if you don't, the surface, see this surface clogs up here? It'll clog up and the paper will not do the cutting anymore. Some spots need a little more than others, like right there. Oh, by tamping it, you can also remove some of the clogging up material which is in the paper. But look at this. I want to show you just how this, see, it's clogged up there and prevents the paper from cutting the way it should. But by taking that to toweling, see, it comes right out of there. You can see how this surface is being abraded right here. See this kind of, in a sense, you're making fine scratches, but they're almost fine that they will not be seen when I put the material on. Now this process is actually one in which you have to continually vary your pressure according to the surface that you're working on. For instance, in areas here, I don't need as much pressure. See how that works there? But on other areas, maybe it requires, right in here, it requires a little more pressure. Again, you got to keep your paper clean, keep the surface so it works. Otherwise, it'll just ride over the top of the surface and won't do the job that it's meant to do. We don't need a lot here. What we just need is to, if you want to say, just make slight dent grooves in the surface so the material that we're going to put on later will stick to the surface. You notice right here was an area that went very easy, and then over here you required a little more work on the surface to bring it up. It's not just something you just go over it without looking and seeing what you're doing. You have to be aware of what you're doing at every moment and be able to alter your movements and your pressure so that you achieve the ultimate outcome that you desire. Lots of times people might be watching this and say, well, what are you supposed to do? What are you trying to do there? How do you do that? And I would say, well, it's very carefully. We're almost done here. carefully examining this, you can see that it's pretty well equally abraded. So now we'll wipe off this excess here.